Hey everybody, Richard James Cook here, creative director of Super Combat Fighter. We're bringing you another video today by popular demand, sort of, because we ran a survey the other day asking what you wanted to see next, and you said you wanted to see the breakdown of the basic mechanics in the game, and also the combo system, and some other stuff we're going to show you as well. If you haven't backed the game yet, please consider doing so. Hopefully this will give you some more information to make that decision better. But as well, everybody who has backed and everybody who's been watching and helping us, retweets and anything else, thank you so much for supporting it. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. We even just got the contract back on an upcoming guest character we're really excited about. We're actually really just geeking out over this one, just mainly because it's one of the biggest ones we've gotten. So I'm really excited for it, and when the time comes to reveal that, we hope you'll be on board and help us spread that around as well. So let's jump right into it. Back to basics. We're just going to go over a few things today. I'm going to jump right into a match here. We're going to go over our basic combat system, which is, just the basic attacks and what the face buttons do and everything like that. And also, we're going to go over things like our hyper move system and combos and special moves. Pretty much just the core mechanics, the core principles of the game. So jumping right into it, it's not straying too far from a traditional formula in terms of that classic, gameplay of fighters like Mortal Kombat and stuff, where we have our basic attacks mapped buttons. We have our high kick, we have our low kick, and we have our high punches and low punches. Our high punches and low punches can be chained a lot like Mortal Kombat. We may refine that in the future based on player feedback and playtesting and how that works out. We're always refining things and always improving things and trying to give the people what they want. So, that might change in the future, but that's what this is right now. And as well, you have your pretty much basic combinations of holding directions and doing these attacks. So you have your spin kick, which is going to be holding back and high kick, or you got your sweep move, which is holding back and low kick. A lot of people like to spam that one in some of the original Mortal Kombat games to get a victory, but, why not? All right, and so we also have our crouch punches and kicks as well. And you can see it nudges the character back, and that's, just, again, so it doesn't allow people to spam it or anything like that and try to get an easy win out of it. We want people to, kind of stay somewhat competitive. Also, we have, our basic crouch and hold high punch, which is going to be your nice classic uppercut there. So we also have a little additional thing as well called a lunge punch, which is just holding back and hitting the high punch button. And basically the whole purpose of this thing is to allow you to clear a little space between your opponent and yourself. If you're getting like bodied on or anything like that, you need to clear a little space for a little bit of a reset and, re-strategize and get away from, your opponent so you can re-strategize a bit. That's something you can do with the lunge punch. That's kind of what it's there for. Of course, we have our shoulder buttons mapped to things as well. It's not just going to be the face buttons. So we have the right trigger, which is going to be mapped to your block, and a lot of people have requested for things like holding back to do block and stuff. It's something, again, we're going to refine and look into through playtesting and see how it operates with people, see what people want more, and we'll probably implement that at some time in the future if that's something people want. But right now, it's mapped to one button. All the same, on the left shoulder button, we have it mapped to a throw. So this is pretty much just go up and throw your opponent with the left trigger. And so unlike Mortal Kombat, where it's not mapped to a single button, you just go up and you usually press A or something like that to throw your opponent. We don't have it. We have it mapped to a single button. But we also have the bumpers acting as additional actions. Now you can see up in the left corner, I have a little bit of my so-called hypermeter built up. You build it through combat and you get your basic stuff like that. But you can also build your hypermeter through taunting. You press the left bumper, you taunt. Now, taunting is more like a risk-reward thing because you can be attacked during it, but if you complete a taunt, you get hypermeter. So it becomes a little bit of a game where you're trying to, clear enough space between your opponent so you can get through your full taunt without getting attacked and get that hypermeter, which is really valued. So that moves us right into talking about the hyper moves or the hyper finishers. And the reason I call them both of those things is because they kind of serve a different purpose depending on how much life you deplete from your enemy by performing them. Now you can see up in the left corner I have a flashing hyper sign which indicates that my hyper is available to me. And you build hypermeter through basic combat like I said or through your taunt. And once you have a full hypermeter you'll get that flashing indication and be able to pull off your hyper. And in order to pull off your hyper move you have to be within sweep distance and you simply just press the right bumper. So obviously you can see that did quite a bit of damage, but Also, if it depletes the entire life of your opponent, say I've got my opponent on the ropes here and he's almost to the end of his life. Let's lay a little bit of a beat down on him. That should be enough. Now, if I deplete his life with my hyper, it's going to kind of simultaneously perform a fatality. So let's do that quick before the time runs out. And that's basically our version of the fatality. It's a hyper fatal finish. So that's basically just our way of, putting those two things together, the hyper combos from Street Fighter and the fatalities from Mortal Kombat. It's just kind of our idea of putting those together and kind of coming up with something fresh for it and, making it unique for you. So moving on next to our special moves. Again, they're not necessarily trying to stray too far from that familiar formula or anything like that. For instance, like one of the things that we kind of realize when people first pick up a game like Mortal Kombat, they haven't played it in years and years and they're just trying it out again. One of the first things they'll try, and the same thing with Street Fighter, is they'll try something like forward something, or that classic, Hadouken down diagonal forward punch, or something like that. So for instance, if I were to with Ninja Team press forward X, he's going to perform a move. And yes, that is his ninja partner. He's one part of the Ninja Team. The joke is they kind of all stand behind each other in sync and they throw each other instead of projectiles. Okay, so it's just a little bit of a jab on that whole idea. It's not taking itself too seriously. But yeah, that's one of the special moves in Ninja Team. So yeah, that's, his forward X, and if you were to press back forward X or something, you're going to get his arc projectile move, which he throws out a different pose every time. It's kind of interesting. We also have a little bit of an homage to Sub-Zero's freeze when you throw out a ninja who just holds your opponent in place for about 1.5 seconds, and it gives you potentially a free hit or a chance to close the distance and lay down a combo on him or something like that. So that's just Ninja Team special moves right there. As far as Armin's special moves go, he also has kind of the same combinations, just maybe with a different face button. So if I were to press forward B, for instance, he does what is called the ground spark, which is just a projectile that travels across the ground. And then another one is a close quarters move, which is going to be back forward B, which is flame crane kick, kicks him up in the air. And then probably the one that people like the most is his phase kick. And the phase kick basically allows you to do a couple things. It allows you to close a far distance pretty easily, pretty fast, by just pressing back forward Y, or if you're close enough, he'll also phase the opponent and kick them out the other side. And that's kind of interesting actually, because once you get on the other side of the opponent, you're kicking them the opposite direction, right? So that can come in handy in things like pit mode, where maybe you're caught on the edge as Armin and you need to, come up, pull a fast one with your opponent, and say the bridge is to the left of me, but you kick him this way, and you kick him off the bridge and you win the match. So it's kind of like lulling your opponent into a false sense of security and being able to capitalize on that. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the combo system. The combo system might be a little intimidating at first, but honestly, once you play it, once you jump in and start kind of learning about how it operates, you'll find really quickly that it lends itself to the idea that both button mashers can compete and just have fun, and competitive players will have something to learn if they want to go that route. So the first rule of the combo system basically says you cannot spam cycle between two buttons. So you can't press XAX, XAX, over and over again if you're trying to initiate a combo. And quickly, the way you initiate a combo is by holding forward and pressing an attack button against your opponent, right? But again, that rule 1 says I cannot do XAX, because guess what? It's going to end the combo right there if you try to do that. So that's the first rule of the combo. You cannot cycle between two buttons. It won't let you. The second rule is you cannot do the same last attack that you just did. So I can't hit AA and get a 3-hit combo out of it, going forward. It'll end it on the second hit every time. I can't do XX. It'll end it on the second hit every time. So that's rule 2 of the combo, which again, helps go against things like spamming buttons and allowing people to kind of cheaply win. So the third rule of the combo system is probably going to be the hardest one to describe. So essentially, every second, fourth, sixth, eighth, etc. hit up to 30 hits is going to correspond to a button that results in what we call a combo ending event. And a combo ending event is exactly what it sounds like. It ends the combo, right? So to show an example of that, for instance, in Armin's combo strings, if I hit X on the second hit, it's going to eliminate the combo regardless of if I'm respecting rules 1 and 2. Or for example, on the 4th hit, if I hit A, it's going to end the combo there as well. So I can do XD YA, and it's going to end the combo regardless, even though I respected the first 2 rules, right? So again, this combo system kind of just lends itself to the idea that button mashers can kind of theoretically get in there and just, you know, mash buttons and still possibly pull off a few combo hits, you know? But a master player, somebody who wants to study the system, is going to look into it and go, I know I should not press this button next, otherwise it's going to end the combo. And you can explore different strings through that method and be able to master the rule set and be able to pull off, you know, a 30-hit combo and just absolutely destroy your opponent if that's what your goal is. So I think that pretty much covers everything. That's pretty much the basic combat mechanics and principles of our game. You know, again, it's not anything too complicated. It's not meant to be. You know, we're not trying to compete with titles like BlazBlue or anything like that. We're just trying to be a fun title that kind of everybody can throw down on the couch or just whatever you want. You know, having fun with friends, having a few drinks, and just beating the crap out of each other. But everybody, thank you all so much. I hope that answers a lot of your questions about the game, and thank you everybody so much for continuing to support the campaign. We love you all very much. Feel free to join the Discord in the button link below if you want. We love hearing new ideas about the game, so if you have something to say, please come in and chat with us. We're happy to talk about it. And as far as everything else goes, I will see you in the next update. Once again, thank you.